This story goes back to February 1948, the same area where Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 disappearance was last detected on radar in 2014, the Strait of Malacca. This is a narrow stretch of sea between Malaysia and Indonesia, through which thousands of ships pass every day. On that day, the weather was completely clear. The sea was calm, and the air was as peaceful as any normal day. Several American and British ships were traveling along this route. Everything was normal, until suddenly, multiple ships in the area received a strange signal over their radios. The signal was in Morse code. Morse code may be an old-school method of communication, but it is far more reliable than voice transmission. Voice signals depend heavily on distance and atmospheric conditions like fog, dust, humidity, and line of sight. When interference occurs, the message either fades out or becomes distorted. Morse code, on the other hand, uses dots and dashes, which can be decoded clearly into full sentences even over long distances. The signal those ships received began like this. 3 dots, 3 dashes, 3 dots repeated twice. This pattern translates to SOS. SOS. The full decoded message read, SOS, SOS. This is the steamship SS Ourang Medan. Request immediate contact with a doctor via shortwave wireless. That was the first message. Without delay, a second message followed. Second officer is probably dead. Other crew members are also dead. No medical advice needed. SOS. Urgent help requested. After that, the ship transmitted its position and then sent one final, incomplete message. ED. And then silence. Radio operators on nearby ships tried to respond again and again, but there was no reply. Within minutes, it became clear that something horrifying had happened aboard the SS Ourang Medan. The closest ship, an American merchant vessel named Silver Star, decided to investigate. Its captain changed course and headed toward the coordinates. At first, they assumed the ship might be sinking or under attack. But after several hours, when they finally reached the location and looked through binoculars, they saw something unsettling. The ship was still there, completely intact. There was no visible damage, no signs of flooding. It was simply floating silently on the water. But something was wrong. Despite being a steamship, no smoke was coming from its chimney, and the deck was completely still. No movement, no crew. The captain of a Silver Star tried calling out through loudspeakers and sounded the horn multiple times. Nothing answered except the waves. Finally, he sent a rescue team aboard the ship. As they stepped onto the SS Ourang Medan, they noticed the atmosphere was cold and eerily silent. And they saw the first body. It was not normal. The man's face was frozen in terror. His eyes and mouth were wide open, as if he had witnessed something horrifying in his final moments. His body was stiff, and his arms were stretched forward, as if trying to push something away. As the team moved further, they found more bodies. They were everywhere. On the deck, on the bridge. The captain was dead at his post. Officers lay where they had fallen. Even the ship's dog was dead, its body stiff, its mouth open in a strange, aggressive posture.
The most disturbing part? There were no visible injuries, no wounds, no signs of struggle, nothing. Just the same expression of fear on every face. When the team reached the radio room, they found the operator who had sent the messages. His fingers were still on the Morse key, frozen in the position he had used to send the final words, "Die." At that moment, one thing became clear. Something deeply unnatural had happened on that ship. The rescue team decided to tow the vessel to the nearest port for investigation. They began tying ropes, but suddenly, smoke started rising from the lower section, cargo hold number 4. At first, it was light smoke. Then flames erupted. The fire spread so quickly that the team had no choice but to abandon the ship. They jumped back into their boats and rushed to the Silver Star. Moments after they returned, a massive explosion tore through the SS Ourang Medan. The ship broke apart, scattering debris across the sea, and then sank, taking all its secrets with it. No evidence remained, only the testimony of the Silver Star's crew. Because of the lack of proof, many people dismiss the story as a myth. Others turn it into conspiracy theories. Some researchers claim the ship was never officially registered. Even Lloyd's Register has no record of it. But others argue that this was just after World War II, when many ships operated under fake names or weren't registered at all, especially those involved in illegal activities. In 1954, Dutch newspapers published articles about the incident, including interviews with people who claimed to have worked on the ship. Some suggested it was used for smuggling illegal goods. Later, in 2003, the Central Intelligence Agency declassified documents related to the case. One letter from 1958 suggested that solving this mystery could explain many other disappearances of ships and aircraft. The most widely accepted theory is a chemical leak. Dangerous substances like potassium cyanide or nitroglycerin. If seawater mixed with potassium cyanide, it could release a highly toxic gas, causing instant death by suffocation, explaining why there were no injuries. Nitroglycerin, on the other hand, is highly explosive and unstable. It could explain the sudden fire and explosion. Another theory links the ship to Unit 731, suggesting it may have been transporting secret biological or chemical weapons after the war. And then, there's the unsettling detail. The Silver Star crew reported that the atmosphere on the ship felt unnaturally heavy. The dog's frozen, aggressive posture suggested it may have reacted to something unseen. This is where the story drifts into the realm of the unknown. To this day, the truth of the SS Ourang Medan remains buried deep beneath the ocean. We can only speculate. Logically, the chemical leak theory seems the strongest, but without evidence, certainty remains out of reach. This incident is one of those rare mysteries that remind us how many secrets the ocean still holds. Even today, when ships pass through the Strait of Malacca, old sailors still remember the story of the SS Ourang Medan. A reminder that no matter how advanced humans become, nature and the unknown still hold the upper hand.